There is a fire in you that your comforts cannot extinguish, a divine ache that your distractions cannot silence. You feel it, do you not? A restlessness in the marrow of your bones when the world is still. A hollow echo in the cathedral of your chest at the end of a day spent in trivial pursuit. It is not a pain of injury, but a pain of absence. A sense that you are meant for shores unseen, for a music unheard, for a battle whose banner you have yet to glimpse. You mistake it for melancholy. You diagnose it as discontent. You dose it with amusements and drown it in noise. You are a fool to do so. You are treating the only symptom of your soul's vitality as if it were a disease. This ache, this holy disquiet, is the first and most profound signpost of your destiny. It is the friction of a dormant greatness rubbing against the coarse, splintered walls of a small existence. It is the spirit, long buried under the practicalities of living, stirring in its grave. Do you think the eagle raised in a barnyard among the clucking hens does not feel a strange pull at the sight of a mountain peak? Does it not find its wings, meant to carve the wind, clumsy and absurd as it scratches in the dirt? Its very form is a condemnation of its circumstance. So it is with you. Your longing is the memory of your form. It is the blueprint of your soul, written in a language of fire and yearning, and it will not be ignored. The world, in its infinite smallness, will call you ungrateful. It will point to your roof, your meal, your modest comforts, and ask what more you could possibly want. It will preach the gospel of enough. It will tell you to quiet the rumble in your heart with the thin gruel of complacency. Do not listen. This is the language of the already defeated, of those who have traded the map to buried treasure for a single tarnished coin. Gratitude is not the enemy of aspiration. It is its fuel. To be thankful for the ground beneath your feet does not mean you must never look at the stars. Indeed, true gratitude for the gift of life demands that you do not waste it in a comfortable cage. This divine ache is the compass needle, twitching toward your true north. It is not a random misery. It is a targeted, intelligent sorrow. What you yearn for is what you are meant to build, to become, to defend. Does the thought of a forgotten melody bring you to the brink of tears? Then perhaps your purpose is to sing it into existence. Does the sight of an injustice set your blood to boiling? Then perhaps your purpose is to stand as a wall against it. Does the vast, silent majesty of a winter night fill you with a loneliness so profound it borders on worship? Then perhaps your purpose is to articulate that silent hymn. Your longing is not vague. It is specific to you. It is the key that fits only the lock on your own unique cage. To silence this ache is the greatest sin against the self. It is a spiritual suicide. Every bottle drained to drown it out, every hour lost in the flickering void of distraction, every compromise made in the name of peace, is another shovelful of dirt on your own potential. You are building a sepulcher of someday and if only, and you will lie in it long before your heart stops beating. A man who has killed his longing is a ghost wearing skin. He walks and talks and performs the functions of life, but the essential flame has been snuffed out. He is the most pitiable creature under the sun, for he has damned himself in the one life he was given. Embrace the ache, court it, sit in the silence, and let it speak to you. It is not your enemy, it is your most faithful guide. It is the thorn in the paw of the lion that keeps it from sleeping through the hunt. It is the memory of water in the throat of a man lost in the desert, driving him onward against all hope. This pain is the price of admission to a life of meaning. It is the proof that you are not yet finished, not yet reconciled to the meager plot of earth they have assigned you. Let it gnaw at you. Let it shatter your false contentment. Let it be the ember that you cup against the wind of a world that seeks to cool you into mediocrity. For in that ache lies the entirety of your destiny. It is the unanswered prayer, the unfulfilled promise, the unwritten poem. It is the space between who you are and who you are summoned to be. And that space, that holy, painful, glorious emptiness, is where your life's work awaits. Do not seek to fill it with trifles. Build a cathedral in it. You are at war, not with the world, but with the ghost of your own potential. Every morning you rise and face him. In the glass, a man looks back, a man familiar in his fatigue, in his compromise, in the gentle resignation etched around his eyes. You recognize the set of his shoulders, slightly slumped from carrying burdens he never chose. You know the cautious timbre of his voice. But look deeper. Look past the surface of the shaving cream and the morning grimace. There, in the depths of the pupil, behind the veil of the mundane, is another man. A stranger. A ghost. He is harder, fiercer, his eyes alight with a purpose that would terrify the man who stands before the glass. He is the man you were meant to be, and he is your life's only true adversary. This is the inner war. It is not fought with bullet or blade, but with choice and with will. It is a civil war within the kingdom of the self, and the battlefield is every moment of every day. The enemy is not some external force of darkness. It is the seductive, whispering voice that lives in your own skull. It is the part of you that chooses the warm bed over the cold dawn, that chooses the easy lie over the difficult truth, that chooses the safety of the crowd over the lonely integrity of the summit. This enemy has but one objective: to maintain the status quo, to keep the ghost in the mirror a ghost, a specter of what might have been, forever locked behind the glass of your fear. His weapons are cunning and familiar. He wields the blunt cudgel of procrastination. Tomorrow. There is always tomorrow. He hurls the sharpened daggers of doubt. Who are you to attempt such a thing? You are not enough. He erects fortifications of fatigue. You are too tired. Rest now. The fight can wait. He is a master of disguise, often sounding like reason itself, like prudence, like sensible self-preservation. But do not be fooled. His counsel always leads to a smaller life, a dimmer flame, a quieter grave. He is the general of the army of mediocrity, and his soldiers are your every bad habit, your every indulged weakness, your every surrendered dream. To win this war, you must become a spy in your own house. You must learn to recognize the enemy's voice the moment it speaks. You must see the offer of comfort for what it is, a tactic. You must see the urge to quit not as fatigue, but as treason. This requires a vigilance that most men are unwilling to muster. It is exhausting. It is the work of a lifetime. There are no days off on this battlefield. There is only advance or retreat. Every time you choose the vegetable over the sweet, the book over the trivial amusement, the hard task over the easy one, you win a skirmish. You take a yard of ground back from the enemy. Every time you speak truth where a lie would be convenient, you shatter one of his supply lines. Every time you create instead of consume, you rally your forces for a greater assault. This war has no grand final parade. Victory is not a destination where you arrive and lay down your arms. Victory is the quality of the fight itself. It is the relentless daily choosing of the harder right over the easier wrong. It is the slow, imperceptible shaping of your character through 10,000 tiny acts of courage. The man in the mirror will change. The slump will leave his shoulders. The resignation in his eyes will be replaced by a calm, unshakable resolve. The ghost will not vanish. He will step through the glass. He will inhabit you. And one morning, you will look into that glass and not see two men, but one. A man integrated, a man who has made peace with his potential by having the courage to fulfill it. The world does not need more comfortable men. It does not need more agreeable men who are masters of compromise. It needs warriors of the spirit. It needs men who have fought the civil war within and emerged victorious, not with a flag to wave, but with a strength to lend. Your family, your community, your world, they are all downstream from the battlefield of your soul. The peace you broker within yourself becomes the foundation upon which others can stand. The discipline you forge in the private crucible becomes the sword that can defend what is good and true in the public square. So tomorrow, when you face the glass, do not look away. Meet the ghost's gaze. See the challenge there. And then go to war, not with shouts and fury, but with a silent, iron will. Choose the thing you know you must choose. Reject the siren call of the lesser life. The battle for the day is won before the sun has cleared the horizon. It is won in the moment you decide which of the two men in the mirror will command the day. The greatest tombstone ever erected does not mark a grave in the earth, but a life in the mind. He almost lived. Walk with me through the quiet streets of any town, any city. Pass by the churchyard with its weathered stones, its dates and epitaphs. That is not the true cemetery. The true cemetery is vast, silent, and invisible. It exists in the hearts of men and women. Its headstones are not carved from marble, but from memory and regret. And upon each one is inscribed the same terrible, damning epitaph, almost. He almost pursued his passion. She almost spoke her love. He almost took the risk. She almost forgave. They almost changed. They almost lived. This is the true field of the dead, and its population dwarfs any mere graveyard. What kills a man before his time? It is not illness, nor accident, nor violence. It is the slow, insidious poison of almost. It is the decision, repeated daily, to trade the magnificent gamble of a life fully lived for the meager security of a life merely survived. He builds not a home, but a cage, and he learns to call the confines of the bars the world. He pads the walls with routine, stuffs the cracks with distraction, and quiets the howling of his own spirit with the numb hum of habit. He is not alive, he is in a state of perpetual preparation. He is waiting for a permission slip from the universe that will never come. He is waiting for the courage that can only be forged in the act of being courageous. Consider the anatomy of an almost. It begins not as a failure, but as a postponement. A dream is conceived in the fiery heart of youth. I will be a painter, the soul whispers. I will build a business. I will travel to distant lands. I will write the book that is in me. And then the voice of the practical, that grim undertaker, speaks. First, you must be secure. First, you must be reasonable. First, you must tend to this and then to that. And so the dream is shelved, not discarded, never discarded, only waiting for a better time. But life is not a river that flows toward that better time. It is a river that flows through you, and with every passing day, it carries away a little more of the vitality needed to grasp that shelved dream. The dream becomes a fossil, a shape of what once was, hardened in the sediment of procrastination, beautiful to look upon, but utterly, irrevocably dead. The cost of this almost is paid not in a single currency, but in every currency of the human experience. It is paid in the slow dimming of the eyes, which once held a light they now cannot remember. It is paid in the bitterness that seeps into a voice commenting on the successes of others. A bitterness that is, at its core, the recognition of a self-betrayal. It is paid in the quiet resentment that grows between husband and wife, for each becomes a living mirror to the other's surrendered dreams. Most of all, it is paid in the haunting, pervasive sense of anonymity, even to oneself. The man of almost does not know who he is, for he has never had the courage to find out. He only knows who he is not, and he is reminded of it every day by the ghost of his own potential. How does one escape this cemetery? There is only one way: to act, to take the first, small, terrifying step off the path of preparation and onto the road of action. The painter must make a wretched, amateurish stroke upon a canvas. The writer must write a clumsy, embarrassing sentence. The traveler must buy a ticket to a station he cannot see the end of. Action is the antidote to almost. It is the resurrection of the dream from its fossil state. It does not matter if the action is imperfect. It does not matter if it leads to failure. Failure is a landmark on the road of the lived life. It is a sign that says, you have ventured beyond the known. But almost is no landmark at all. It is a void, a emptiness, a non-place. Do not let your epitaph be written in the weak ink of if only. Let it be carved into the rock of your deeds, however small. The world is not divided into the successful and the failures. It is divided into those who try and those who almost try. Belong to the former. Let your life be a collection of glorious failures, of noble attempts, of scars earned in the arena and not in the stands. Let your headstone, when it is finally placed, say only one thing: he lived. And let the silence that follows those words echo with the thunder of 1,000 battles fought, 1,000 loves expressed, 1,000 dreams pursued to their end. For a life lived in full is the only answer to the quiet curse of the cemetery of almost. Beware the velvet-lined cage, for the most secure prison is the one you never try to leave. You have built it yourself, brick by indulgent brick. You have furnished it with soft chairs and the low, constant hum of distraction. You have hung heavy curtains to block out the unsettling light of dawn and the challenging glare of the stars. You call it your life, your home, your peace. I call it by its true name, a cage. And the most diabolical genius of its design is that the bars are not made of iron, but of comfort. They do not chafe the skin. They gently numb the soul. You are dying, not in a storm of failure, but in a gentle, warm, suffocating fog of contentment. Comfort is the great siren song of the modern age. It sings a lullaby of enough. It whispers that struggle is unnecessary, that hardship is a relic of a crueler time, that the highest aim of a man is to arrange his world so that he is never uncomfortable, never challenged, never afraid. This is a lie woven from the finest silk, and it will strangle you as you sleep. For a soul, like a muscle, requires resistance to grow. Without the tension of difficulty, it atrophies. Without the cold wind of adversity, it cannot become hardy. Comfort does not preserve life, it preserves existence, which is a hollow echo of life. It keeps the body fed and warm while it starves the spirit to a shadow. Look at the arc of a man's life under the reign of comfort. In youth, he is all fire and hunger. He seeks the test. He yearns for the obstacle to overcome, for it is through overcoming that he comes to know himself. But comfort offers him a shortcut. It offers the appearance of victory without the battle. It offers a purchased status, a leased identity, a simulated achievement. Slowly, insidiously, the fire is banked. The hunger is sated with junk food for the soul. The man trades the uncertainty of the summit for the predictability of the recliner. He mistakes the absence of pain for the presence of happiness. He has not found peace. He has merely signed a ceasefire with his own potential, and the terms of surrender are his dreams. This cage is velvet-lined, and thus the most difficult to escape. An iron bar is obvious. Its coldness jolts the hand that touches it. Its strength is a clear adversary. But velvet is seductive. It invites you to lean against it. It conforms to your shape. It whispers that this is what you have earned, that you deserve this rest, that the world outside the cage is harsh and cruel and thankless. The guard of this prison is not a man with a key, but a voice inside your own head, the voice of complacency. It is a master of rationalization, turning cowardice into wisdom and apathy into contentment. It will show you the storms raging outside your window and tell you to be grateful for your shelter, never reminding you that a ship is safe in harbor. But that is not what a ship is for. The breaking out does not require a grand, dramatic revolt. It begins with a conscious, daily rejection of the sedative. It starts with introducing small, deliberate moments of discomfort into the fabric of your padded day. Take the colder shower, walk the farther distance. Read the book that challenges your beliefs instead of the one that confirms your prejudices. Fast from the endless stream of digital distraction and sit in the unbearable silence with your own thoughts. Each of these acts is a tear in the velvet. Each is a finger feeling for the first time the cold, hard, real bar beneath the pleasant facade. For comfort is not the enemy. The pursuit of comfort as an end in itself is the enemy. True peace is not the absence of challenge, but the serenity found in the midst of it. It is the calm in the eye of the hurricane of your own striving. It is earned through exertion, not granted through avoidance. Do not seek a life free of storms. Seek instead to build a soul that can weather them, and in the weathering, become stronger than the storm itself. Leave the cage, tear down the velvet curtains, let the wind and the rain in, for only then will you feel truly, wholly, ferociously alive. The comfort of the grave awaits us all soon enough. Do not rush to meet it by building a tomb around you while you still draw breath. Do not ask for a lighter burden, but for a stronger back. For the weight is the gift. The world flees from suffering as from a plague. It pharmacies itself against pain, numbs itself to ache, and builds entire philosophies to explain away agony as a mistake in the universe's design. This is the reasoning of a child. You look upon the blacksmith at his anvil and see only the violence of the hammer, the cruelty of the fire. You see the suffering of the ore and the hot iron. But you are blind to the purpose. You do not see the sword being born. Suffering is not the enemy of the soul. It is its forge. It is the indispensable fire and the hammer without which you remain but a lump of potential, soft, useless, and dull. Every great soul you have ever admired was tempered in a private hell. Every work of art that elevates the spirit was carved from a block of personal anguish. Every profound insight was mined from the dark, deep shafts of sorrow. Do you think the peace of the Buddha was found in a palace of pleasures? It was found only after he stared into the abyss of sickness, age, and death. Do you think the courage of the abolitionist was born in a comfortable parlor? It was forged in the white-hot fury of witnessing injustice. To seek a life without suffering is to seek a life without strength, without depth, without meaning. You are asking to be a feather carried by the wind when you could be the arrow, carved and straightened by the knife, launched from the bow, flying true to its target. Understand this. Pain is inevitable. It is the tax of existence. You will pay it in the currency of loss, of illness, of betrayal, of failure. This is non-negotiable. But misery, that long drawn-out song of sorrow, is optional. Misery is the choice to lie down in the forge and be consumed by the fire. Strength is the choice to allow the fire to burn away your impurities. The same heat that melts the wax hardens the steel. The same blow that shatters the glass forges the sword. The event is neutral. It is your metal, your essential character, that determines the outcome. Will you be wax or will you be steel? Will you be glass or will you be iron? Do not pray for an easy life. Such a prayer is a prayer for weakness. It is a request to be kept soft, pliable, and impotent. Instead, pray for the capacity to endure a hard one. Pray for the resilience of the oak that has been battered by winds and is therefore rooted deeper than the sheltered Penzai. Pray for the perspective of the mountain that has been scarred by glaciers and yet stands unmoved. Your suffering is not a sign that God has abandoned you. It is the evidence that He is working on you. He is the divine blacksmith, and He will not leave a worthy piece of metal untempered. He will thrust you into the fire again and again, not out of malice, but out of a desire to see you achieve the keen edge, the unbreakable strength, the glorious purpose for which you were created. This is not a call to seek out suffering masochistically. That is another form of madness. The world will bring you enough without you courting it. This is a call to use what is brought. When the blow falls, do not waste your breath cursing the hammer. Instead, ask, what is this blow meant to shape in me? What weakness is it revealing? What dross is it burning away? The death of a loved one can make you bitter and closed, or it can make you compassionate and present to the love that remains. A financial collapse can make you fearful and grasping, or it can teach you the profound difference between value and price. A betrayal can make you cynical and hard, or it can teach you the true meaning of loyalty and the importance of being a trustworthy person yourself. Your character is not built in the calm, sunny meadows of life. It is revealed there, yes, but it is built in the storms, in the droughts, in the long, frozen winters of the spirit. Embrace the forge. Lean into the discomfort. Thank God for the hammer, for it means He is not finished with you yet. You are not a victim of your suffering. You are the student of it. You are the artisan, and your own soul is the material. Now, pick up the tools. The fire is waiting. The world screams in 1,000 voices, but your destiny whispers in the space between heartbeats. You are drowning in a sea of noise. It is a ceaseless, crashing tide of opinion, advertisement, entertainment, and triviality. It fills your eyes, your ears, the very air you breathe. It is the static that has replaced the music of the spheres. And you, poor soul, have come to mistake this cacophony for life itself. You fear its absence. You plug your ears with songs and your eyes with moving pictures, lest you be left alone with the one thing you have forgotten how to bear, the sound of your own soul. But I tell you, it is only in the utter demolition of noise that you will hear the one voice that matters, the faint, persistent whisper of your destiny. Silence is not emptiness. It is not a void. It is the native language of the eternal. It is the medium through which the soul communicates with itself and with its creator. All great things, true love, profound courage, timeless art, divine insight, are conceived in silence. They are born in the quiet, dark womb of contemplation, not in the noisy, glaring marketplace of distraction. A tree's roots do not grow during the storm. They grow in the still, moist darkness of the soil. So it is with you. Your growth, your deepening, your connection to the source of your being. All of this happens not in the doing, but in the ceasing to do. Not in the speaking, but in the listening. But you have been taught to despise silence. You call it boredom. You call it loneliness. You treat it as a pathology to be cured with another notification, another episode, another scroll. This is a fundamental error of the age. Boredom is not the absence of stimulation. It is the absence of engagement with your own inner world. Loneliness is not the absence of people. It is the absence of a connection to your own true self. You can be desperately lonely in a crowd and profoundly connected in total solitude. The fear of being alone with your thoughts is the fear of meeting a stranger you were meant to know better than anyone else. You. Cultivate silence as if your life depends on it, for it does. Carve it out of your day with the ruthlessness of a sculptor hacking away at everything that is not the statue. Wake before the world stirs and simply sit. Do not pray with words. Do not plan your day. Simply be. Let the silence press in on you. At first, it will be unbearable. The ghosts of your regrets, the anxieties of your future, the mental chatter. It will all rise to the surface like a scream. This is the detoxification of the soul. You must let the poison come out. Do not reach for the needle of distraction. Sit, breathe, endure, and then a shift will occur. The chaos will subside. The static will fade. And in that pristine quiet, you will begin to hear it. Not a voice with words, necessarily. More like a pull, a knowing, a clarity. It is the compass of your spirit, finally able to point true north without interference. It is in this silence that you will understand the next right step. It is here that the solution to the problem that tormented you will appear, not as a calculated answer, but as a gentle dawn. It is here that you will find not answers, but a profound peace with the questions themselves. This practice of stillness is the most radical and rebellious act you can commit in a world hell-bent on your noise-addled compliance. It is a withdrawal from the frenzy, a strike against the machinery of consumption and distraction. By being silent, you become ungovernable by the shouts of the crowd. You anchor yourself in a reality deeper than the trending topic, more permanent than the current crisis. You touch the eternal. So turn it off. All of it. Let the screens go dark. Let the music fade. Step outside and listen to the oldest sermon ever preached. The wind in the trees, the distant call of a bird, the rhythm of your own heart. This is not doing nothing. This is the most important something you will do all day. You are tuning your instrument. You are clearing the channel. You are making yourself a vessel, capable of receiving a wisdom that the noisy world can neither give nor understand. For God does not shout in the earthquake or the fire. He speaks in the still, small voice that can only be heard when everything else has been shut off. Learn to listen. You are not who you are. You are who you must become. And the distance between the two is measured in blood, fire, and will. Look at your hands. They are soft. Look at your will. It is pliable. Look at your character. It is a house built on the sand of convenience. This is not an indictment. It is a diagnosis. It is the starting point. Now, look to the mountain. See the figure standing at its peak. He is shrouded in mist, but his outline is clear. Shoulders squared, gaze steady, forged in a weather you have yet to experience. That is not a different man. That is you. The you that exists as potential, as a divine imperative. The journey from this valley to that peak is the only journey that matters. It is the ascent of the self. This becoming is not an organic process, like a flower blooming. It is a violent, deliberate act of creation, like a sculptor attacking a block of marble. The current you, the weak, the distracted, the comfort-seeking you, is not the raw material. He is the excess. He is the marble that must be chiseled away. Every blow of the hammer is pain. Every slice of the chisel is a loss. You will lose parts of yourself you have long cherished. Your excuses, your cherished resentments, your self-pity, your laziness. These things feel like part of your identity, but they are only the baggage weighing down the climber. To become who you are, you must first cease to be who you are not. This is a terrifying, painful, and necessary destruction. The blueprint for this new man does not exist in any book. It is written in your bones. It is encoded in that divine ache we spoke of. Your task is not to invent a new self from whole cloth, but to uncover the self that is already there, buried under the accumulated rubble of poor choices, societal expectations, and fear. It is an archaeological dig into your own soul. You must brush away the dust of neglect and see the strong lines that were there all along. How do you know what to chisel away? The answer is found in every moment of choice. Does this action move me toward the mountain or keep me in the valley? Does this thought strengthen my resolve or weaken it? Does this habit build the body and mind of the man on the peak or the man in the easy chair? The tools for this great work are not complex, but they are brutally difficult to wield. The first is discipline, the daily, hourly application of the chisel, whether you feel inspired or not. Inspiration is for amateurs. The master shows up and works even on the days the muse has abandoned him. The second is suffering, the willingness to embrace the pain of the hammer blow, to understand its purpose, and to keep swinging. The third is silence, the quiet space where you can hear the true shape of the statue within and distinguish it from the noise of the world's opinions. The fourth is action, the relentless forward momentum, the refusal to be paralyzed by perfectionism or fear. This is not a selfish pursuit. To become the man on the mountain is the greatest gift you can give to a world drowning in mediocrity. A man who has mastered himself is a rock upon which others can stand. His strength becomes a resource. His clarity becomes a light. His discipline becomes an example. He does not rise to look down on others in the valley. He rises to show them that the ascent is possible. He rises to pull others up. A society is only as strong as the individuals within it, and a society of men and women engaged in the sacred work of self-creation is a society that can withstand any storm, overcome any obstacle, and achieve any glory. The path is steep, the weather will turn. You will lose your way 1,000 times. You will look back at the warm, well-lit valley and be tempted to turn back. Do not. The man in the valley is a ghost, a placeholder for the man you are to become. His comforts are a phantom, his security an illusion. Only the man on the peak is truly, fully real. He is the finished creation. The rest of us are just rough drafts. So take up the tools. Feel the weight of the hammer in your hand. Set the chisel against the stone of your own weakness, and strike, and strike, and strike again. The statue awaits its liberation. The mountain awaits its conqueror. The clock is not ticking. It is an axe blow against the tree of your life, and the trunk is already half severed. You act as if you have an endless supply of days. You squander hours as a rich man's son squanders coin, with a careless flick of the wrist, believing the vault to be bottomless. You are wrong. The vault is not only finite, it is already half emptied, and you have no accounting of what remains. Each sunrise is not a gift added to your pile. It is a day withdrawn from your account, and the currency is not money, but opportunity. The clock does not tick, it echoes. It is the sound of an axe biting into the tree of your life, and with each swing the trunk groans, the chips fly, and the great canopy of your potential shudders. How many blows remain before it falls? This is the weight of mortality. It is not a morbid fixation to be avoided. It is the central galvanizing fact of existence. To ignore it is to live a lie. To embrace it is to be injected with a serum of furious, beautiful urgency. The man who truly knows he will die does not sink into despair. He is shaken awake. He sees the world in a sharper, more vivid light. The taste of water is sweeter. The grip of a handshake is more meaningful. The value of an hour is incalculable. His impending death is not his enemy. It is his most effective life coach, whispering in his ear. Is this what you want to be doing with your last precious moments? Consider the arithmetic of a life. Grant yourself 80 years, a generous sum, and one denied to many. That is merely 29,200 days. Subtract the days of infancy and childhood, a third of your life spent in becoming. Subtract the days of old age, another quarter, God willing, spent in diminishment. What remains? A brief, bright window of agency, perhaps 15,000 days. How many have you already spent? How many remain? You could number them, stack them like gold coins on a table. Would you then spend one on bitterness? Would you invest one in a petty grievance? Would you waste one in a fog of distraction? The thought is absurd, yet you do it. You do it every day. This is not a call to a frantic, desperate hedonism, to pack as much pleasure into the remaining time as possible. That is just another form of wasting it. This is a call to value, to assign a weight to your time commensurate with its true, staggering worth. An hour of focused, deep work on your purpose is a coin well spent. An hour of genuine connection with a loved one is an investment that pays eternal dividends. An hour of silent contemplation is a deposit into the bank of your soul. But an hour lost to gossip, to envy, to mindless consumption, that is not spending, it is throwing your gold into the sea. Let the echo of the axe be the drum you march to. Let it set the pace for your days. When you are tempted to delay, let its rhythm remind you, not later, now. When you are tempted to hold a grudge, let its sound remind you, forgive. This moment is too precious for poison. When you are faced with a choice between the easy and the meaningful, let the falling chips be your guide. Choose meaning. Always choose meaning. Your legacy will not be the sum of your years, but the distillation of your days. It will not be what you accumulated, but what you gave. It will not be the comfort you achieved, but the challenges you accepted. The tree will fall. This is not negotiable. The only question is, what will you have made of the wood? Will it be a grand cathedral, a bridge that helps others cross, a strong ship that sails uncharted waters? Or will it be so much kindling, burned up in a brief, hot fire of trivial pursuits, leaving behind only ash and the memory of heat? The axe falls. The choice is yours. The time is now.